What's happening, fandoms? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we react to music videos and shows. Today we're back to the Expanse. We're in season 6, the final season, episode 4, titled Redoubt. In the last episode, the massive battle that occurred between the Rocinante and Marco Inaros and his 3 ships resulted in one of Marco's ships being almost completely crippled, the other one falling back to support it, and then the Pella itself being struck as a result of Bobby's exemplary plan to make use of their predictable dodging patterns. And this is a huge moral victory and a massive defeat for the ego of Marco. And in the books served another purpose. It actually resulted in the death of Fred Johnson, who was on board the ship in the books. In the show, Fred died quite some time ago during the attack on Tycho. But in the books, he survived that and was actually aboard the Rocinante, which was flying out for a very different reason in the books than in the shows. But like we've discussed many times, we're really shifting things around in the show. So much is different in pretty significant ways that it's difficult to compare event to event. But this is definitely, this fight from last episode was definitely the fight where Fred died, because the same sort of dodging and strategic placement of PDC rounds and railgun shots mid escape were all employed, but due to the high G atmosphere, Fred stroked out and is gone. Now maybe we'll see some of this going forward. We're halfway through this season and we have to get to some pretty significant events here before we're done. But in the books, they had Fred Johnson on board because they were heading to a secret meeting of many OPA heads where they were going to try and get everybody together. And I'm thinking maybe that's where we're headed, because ultimately we need to get this showdown on the road. So let's go ahead and do it. Yeah, this story on what's the name of this planet? I forget. This story is just so sad, and man, here we are in the deep of it. In the novella, he has died as a result of carelessness from one of the military drivers, I think. Here, they haven't said anything yet, so I don't know if they're gonna play up the tension between the settlers and the military or not.
You weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah, well, I've never been to Earth.
Me neither. I grew up on Mars.
Duarte making an appearance,
Whatever
huh?
you feel, it's okay.
I know it's all right to be sad.
Grief is strange. I lost a place. And it's a place that mattered to me. And I thought it would
Mars?
go on forever. Well, that's not true. I assumed it would. Like how you assumed Alexander would always be here. I never thought it would fall apart. And then it did.
It's talking
It
about
made me
Mars.
very sad. I'm very, very angry and frightened. They still matter. We're doing something good here. It's important.
Bad guys always think they're good guys.
It'll make all of this worth it. Even the parts we had to give up along the way.
I don't want to give him up.
When those rings opened, we all ran out into the universe like your brother ran out into that road. No one could stop us, so instead, someone has to keep us safe. Or at least try. I don't know if I still can, and if I can't, nothing matters then anyway.
Equating humanity entering the rings to a kid to get more than we got in the books.
Wrong?
My new coordination protocol returned a coherent reply pattern.
Show me.
I think I can turn it on. I know I can.
Turn it on, huh? Interesting. I don't think we saw any conversations between Cortazar and Duarte in the novella. It's been a couple weeks since I did it, but definitely they turned on some systems, so that's what they're referring to most likely. Yeah. Yep, she's taking her brother out so that the strange robot dog can fix him. Such a horrific story, man. I just saw for the first time, or just noticed for the first time, that they showed us images of that central control module in the ring space.
I understand your anger and your fear.
It'll take more than that to turn them against Marco.
With all due respect,
Wow.
ma'am, we are a navy, not a police force.
With a fleet that is not strong enough to turn the tide of this war without allies in the belt.
15 UN Marines, 27 Martians dead,
Belt has died as well.
and 2 brand new frigates out of commission. And for what? They don't want us here. Fine.
I will not commit my forces to that plan.
And yet, ultimately, that is what will need to happen, sort of. Wow. A little bit of a different storyline in the books. We didn't get the same kind of terroristic attack
I was glad to hear
on
you were
series.
Darcy Okuda, Specialist, East Asian Trade Zone.
Yeah, in the books, this was Holden's initiative. He was doing interviews and trying to humanize Belters to the inner planets. But it's important for the propaganda stuff to happen.
Someone will find that ship.
In the books,
Beam comms only.
Amos was doing this and discovered that Jim had disabled the torpedoes.
Hole's
Maybe
okay overall,
Naomi's gonna
but there's
discover
a chunk
it.
of something wedged in the swing arm of PDC-4. We need to clear it out. We may have to place some hydraulics.
I think he was lying.
Probably. He used to play it all the time here, too.
Why are they calling back to Alex here? That's weird.
Behind a cloud.
So I did a full torpedo diagnostic like you told me to. All the mini missiles checked out fine.
What do I need to look at?
Well, since the dud checked out fine pre-launch too, I figured there might be some wider system glitch. So I drilled down into the weapon's telemetry log and I found this.
Yep.
This is way above my pay grade and I'm not trying to judge.
I think it's counterproductive.
If the captain of the Granicus calls and tries to get you to change my mind, have him put outside as well.
Damn. They're making him even more ruthless in the
Where the
show.
fuck have you been? You're lucky the repair skip is not here yet.
Tell me what to do.
Okay,
He's like,
you know
but
how
you're
to
the
operate a maintenance skiff?
you're the boss's kid. Uh-oh.
Well, I'm sure you take to it. I mean, for you, with all you've done, it will be simple.
Philip.
What is she doing?
What do you think he would do if I shot you in the face?
I don't know. Feel really guilty about it. Then send money to my family and pretend it's remorse.
Oh boy. Damn. That's probably about right. Yeah. We're heading towards a real face-to-face confrontation between Philip and his dad. And I have to say Marco is feeding it.
See, here's my problem. I trust you to do the right thing. What you think it is. We had a chance to end Marco.
Yeah,
And you pulled
that's
the punch.
true.
And I keep trying, but I can't see how that was the right thing. It was a gut decision in the moment. But I made the call.
Yeah. In the books, there's a little bit more inner monologue there. We know that it's because of Philip being on that ship.
Make it perfectly flush with the others, just like this, or the welt would be weak.
Okay.
Okay. My brother is a dock worker on Ceres. I haven't heard from him since the water tank explosion. I'm just worried. Won't happen again. Promise.
Yeah.
Your
And
skiff, your rules.
yeah,
And your brother.
Philip is feeling guilty.
You're close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me and Mas, my son. I just hope he's okay.
Probably not. Because that'll make Philip feel even worse. She's still investigating these ship disappearances.
The chance to surrender, I saw Philip on the screen.
I did too.
Yep.
Torpedo bearing down on him. He just looks so scared.
Why are you telling me this?
The torpedo didn't fail. I disarmed it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't lost my mind. I know what that choice meant, but I couldn't kill your son.
If you let Marco escape to spare my feelings,
Can't.
If Philip hurts more people than
It's not about Philip or what he might or might not do. It's about us. I can't be the one who kills your son.
Yeah.
It won't matter that we were at
You're
war.
kind of
If he was
compromised.
on the other side. Every time you wake up, you'll be lying next to the reason your boy is dead.
Jim,
I can't be that to you.
but I chose not to. I know I tried. Please don't take that from me. It's all I have left.
Man, I really like her. I hope she gets good roles in other stuff.
Pashang, I should have brought a net.
What are we looking at here? Oh, drummer. What you doing, drummer? Okay.
All this on the floor while Marco Lestival starved.
A revolution that doesn't make you rich is hardly worth having, huh?
Cut the chatter. First team. With me.
They're going after one of these hidden caches of supplies.
Grapple's ready. Fire.
Ooh. Interesting.
Make contact. We're entering the station now.
Yeah, these junk stations made out of supply containers and stuff. Pretty cool.
Don't think that's what this is, though.
Why not?
Foot slots in the door.
This one's what?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How many?
Behind us. Let them. Two more.
Oh boy. Oh man. This is an event that I don't recall, so.
Maneuvering it now.
And they still have Michio. They didn't drop her off, huh?
What are you doing? He's trying to get his arm free. You'll kill him. The only thing keeping his blood in is that pressure.
She's gonna come in and save the day.
Around his arm.
What? What are you saying?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
No!
She's taking his arm right off. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. She's a badass.
Steady work, Huggle.
Oh, boy.
Amos told you what we discussed on the hall.
Didn't sound like much of a discussion.
Wow.
Actually, it's more like I told him.
He didn't mention that.
He was trying to protect me. He does that. When you said that we were all reaching for violence, couldn't we just try something else for once?
Really? That
Here we
far
are.
along, huh?
Still trying to kill our way to a better tomorrow.
Ooh.
I clearly didn't make my case.
I killed a lot of people. Some of them deserved it. Most of them probably didn't. But that's not the point. They all haunt me just the same.
Yeah.
Hirawan Koyotoke? Is this your cat?
Yes. Her name is Lucky Earther. She is fat and lazy, and I give her whatever she wants.
Oh, boy. Lucky Earther, huh?
That's why it works. If you want the enemy to see you as human, you have to see them as human.
I'm not sure Bertels will ever do that.
I'm not sure I'm talking about them.
Ooh. Oh, that was intense. Yeah. They did a good job of taking Holden's interviews and turning it into some really high quality propaganda in the version of this in the show.
So much for anonymity.
Oh boy. Huh. So they blew the charges on the cables holding these two things together so that they spin out. And only they know where they are now. That makes sense.
Because all the people that used to are either dead or sulking around below decks picking up trash. We lost a scalp.
Damn.
It would have been better if we won, but we didn't. But if the crew thinks you've been shaken by the loss, it will shake their faith in you. You're Marco Inaros. Things like this roll off you.
Wow. She knows how to play him.
After what Philip's mother did to me, to our family, they deserve to die.
If we succeed, they'll be as powerless as the dead.
Okay. Fascinating. This looks like a Martian ship. Where the hell are we?
Any word on your brother?
Oh, that's the Pella.
No.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. You mean someone disarmed him?
No, who would do that?
Yeah.
Had to be a malfunctioning flight. We all lucky to be alive.
Who would do that, Philip? Think about it.
This is Kamina Drummer, and this message is for the traitor,
Hmm.
coward, Mako Inaros. Live shade, die empty.
Oh boy. Big words. I love it.
At least it wasn't the Innes who raided our supplies.
Whose side are you on?
Well, I only...
Drummer is our enemy, same as the Innas, and anyone else who stands against us. This is war, and it won't be over until we are dead or victorious, or else everything that we fought for, the blood that we spilled, the Baratnas we lost, all will have been for nothing. There's no turning back now.
Hmm. Damn. Philip. Man, this show is doing such a good job of taking the events of that sixth book and turning it into the final season of this show. It's masterful, really, to see how they've changed these events ever so slightly. This declaration by Drummer mirrors one that was done by Michio Pa in the books, and it's not exactly the same, obviously, but the concepts are the same. And Drummer being a faction that splinters away from the Free Navy and makes a declaration and takes some small number of others with her is an important feature. The fact that we're getting it this late in the season makes me think that perhaps the coordination that we see in the books may be a little bit less cohesive. Perhaps we'll come to a conclusion that's a little bit more serendipitous and less planned. But in the books, ultimately, because of the Splinter factions cutting away and purporting to work directly for Belters instead of for the Free Navy, Marco hunts down individual ships of this faction and it takes them out one by one. Many of them, not all of them, but this leads that faction to ultimately build a treaty of sorts with the combined fleet. And then they all ultimately work together. And I don't see that there's enough time for that to occur in the last 2 episodes. I suppose it's possible, but we're kind of behind the curve on this one. But still, I love how defiant Drummer is, and the fierceness with which she, expresses herself. She's a much more imposing figure than they ever made Michio Pa in the books feel like. She was much less aggressive, much less impassioned, I feel. This is all based on my interpretation of these things, but it felt less personal and less powerful in the books than this does. And I really like the portrayal that Kara G is doing for Drummer. And frankly, all of these actors are doing such an amazing job. I really hope that they have gone on to have great careers. I haven't seen many things with most of the rest of them, but I still have high hopes for them. This show finished up, I think, before or during the pandemic, and so it could have been tough for some things to happen for some people, but I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that we see big things from a lot of these actors going forward. The transformation of what in the books was Holden's concept. He did a bunch of interviews with various belter, just common folk belter people on series, and it was his initiative that he took on. It wasn't a Monica thing, Monica and Christian, but the way they've transformed it in the show here, man, it was really impactful to me. The propaganda was strong, and I think it would be very, very effective. They haven't shown that it's gone out so far. All they've done is show Monica collecting some of it and like presenting a draft version essentially to Avasarala. But it made me tear up. It was really powerful, and I like what they did with that. It turned it into something really good. Not that what was in the stories was bad, but it was in the typical Jim Holden fashion, sort of on the fly, improvised, a little bumbling and not quite sure of itself. That's the feel that I got for it in the books. But here it had the professionalism and the impact that I think it should. And I think that's great. I have nearly finished my reread of book 6, and it has reminded me just how crazy good this series is. And I'm so glad that it got made into a TV show like this with such visual impact. And I'm going to switch gears. The storyline of Holden disarming the torpedoes, in the show they've turned it into something with more conflict among the crew than it had in the books, is my feeling. Some very tense confrontations have occurred already in this show between Jim and Amos and Jim and Naomi, and I feel like in the books it was pretty much one and done. He said, hey, I did it for this reason. It was a reflex, and and that was pretty much it. It didn't feel like it had as big of a potential impact, but obviously they're smart to pick up the drama a little bit, to pick up the tension and make it feel like more of a contentious point. And because it has more impact on the viewer. And especially, I don't recall on the other side of things, I don't recall ever seeing any of the Free Navy discovering that they had been granted mercy with this whole disarmed warhead thing. I don't recall them finding a warhead or, knowing that it was disarmed. I feel like that is all designed to just heighten the tensions on that side, because we are still headed for some kind of a showdown between Marco and Philip, and they've had plenty already, and it's just going to continue to get worse, I think, because the existential dread that Philip must be starting to have about his role in all of this stuff, and his doubts about the actual qualifications of his father. In the books, we've had some very serious, direct accusations of Philip to his father of just basically not knowing what the hell he's doing and failing over and over and over again, and it's very intense. And so I'm looking forward to some of those scenes still occurring. What I'm not looking forward to is seeing the conclusion of the strange dog sequences that occur in our, little interludes at the beginning of each episode, because that story, although it does inform a little bit about what's going on the other side of the rings, whereas we would not be getting anything like that, because there are no pieces of the book 6 storyline that go any further than the ring space with Medina. It's just a sad story, and it's a little weird, and it's kind of scary and sad, and I know where it's headed, and it just makes me feel for that family. And I guess a show that makes you feel things it's a good show, but I almost wish I hadn't experienced the novella Strange Dogs so that I could have some wonder and experience this for the first time in the show. But at the same time, it was a good short story, and I enjoyed it. And now experiencing it a second time in visual format, it's a little different, but still not as looking forward to that part of things as the rest of it. So anyway, appreciate all you folks following along and sticking with me through our difficulties with the YouTube, copyright and monetization issues, and appreciate you guys for all the likes and comments and so on. And that's really well received, and I do read all of them, and I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next video.